What are the legal intricacies of ground leases? Imagine owning a piece of land but not the buildings on it. That's what a ground lease is all about. It's a long-term agreement where the landowner rents out land to someone else. The tenant can develop the land, build structures, and use it during the lease period. But the land stays owned by the landlord. When the lease ends, the improvements usually go back to the landowner. These leases often last between 50 and 99 years, especially in commercial real estate. One tricky part is who owns what. The landowner keeps ownership of the land, but the tenant owns the buildings or improvements they make. This division needs clear rules in the contract to avoid disputes later. The lease must specify how long it lasts and if it can be renewed. These details influence whether the tenant can plan long-term projects or secure financing. Another important aspect is subordination. Sometimes the lease says the landlord's rights are secondary to a lender's rights. This means if the tenant defaults, the lender can take over the leasehold interest. This can affect the landlord's control over the property. Other times, the lease is not subordinate, giving the landlord priority over lenders. This impacts how easy it is for tenants to get loans and how risks are shared. Rent arrangements are also key. The rent might stay the same or increase over time. Tenants usually pay property taxes, insurance, and maintenance costs. The landlord might cover mortgage payments and taxes on the land. Clear rules in the lease prevent disagreements about who pays what. Development restrictions are common too. The lease often limits what the tenant can build and requires permits and zoning compliance. This shifts some development risks to the tenant. Risks like delays, permit issues, or default are addressed in the lease. It should specify what happens if the tenant cannot meet development milestones or defaults on payments. Usually the landlord can terminate the lease or take back improvements. Tax considerations matter as well. Tenants might deduct depreciation and rent expenses, while landlords benefit from steady income. The lease should clarify who pays property taxes and how tax benefits are divided. When the lease ends, the tenant's improvements typically revert to the landlord. The lease should specify the condition the property must be in and whether the tenant can remove improvements or must leave them behind. This impacts how much tenants are willing to invest. Because ground leases are complex, they need careful drafting. Lawyers must ensure all terms are clear, including dispute resolution, assignment rights, insurance, and legal compliance. In essence, ground leases let tenants develop valuable land without buying it outright. Landlords keep long-term ownership and receive regular income. But the legal details about ownership, financing, risks, and end-of-lease arrangements are vital. Without proper planning, disputes can arise, so understanding these legal intricacies helps both parties protect their interests.